kill.
BustedDPad.com presents a look at Halo 4 from E3 2012. This game did start off Microsoft's media briefing this past Monday, and let's get right into it and take a look at the footage that they showed.
Chief! There!
Entity has seized control of our ship. We're without power. We're on a collision course with an unidentified foe on the planet.
Track its descent.
Marking. Impact predicted 77.8 kilometers due north. He's heading.
Same place we are.
These Covenant aren't messing around. I'm detecting additional forces inbound.
Can you get us down to the ship?
Affirmative. Setting a waypoint for Infinity. Let's go. I don't think we're the only ones in here. Keep your eyes open.
Now, the first thing I'm sure most will notice is that the engine that 343 Industries has put together is absolutely beautiful. Halo 4 is definitely, without a doubt, the best-looking game in the franchise so far, and it does look super HD. Now, I'm not a pixel counter by any stretch of the imagination, but it does look like it's running in 720p native. This footage is in 720p. I'm sure it'll upscale to 1080p when the game releases. But when Bungie was at the helm of the Halo franchise, every game that they put out upscaled to 720 from about 576p, and they did take a lot of flack for that. So Master Chief, with his updated player model here that looks amazing, will take his battle rifle and his assault rifle, standard Halo weapons, into the fight against what will eventually turn out to be brand new enemies, which most people, and myself included, had expected, considering that the war against the Covenant was over. That does not mean that the Covenant don't play any role in the game at all. There's a small section of them which unfortunately I don't have the footage of where they show up, but I will be able to show them to you in screenshot form. Luckily, Microsoft has been giving out tons and tons of screenshots to be looking at that we can pore over and speculate upon, and let's go ahead and take a look at some of them. So here we have 18 screenshots that were taken from the single player, or at least they're labeled as such, so we're going to have to go ahead and take 343 and Microsoft at their word for it. A couple of these are just pretty much screen grabs from the single-player footage that we watched earlier, or if you saw it during Microsoft's press event on Monday. However, some of the latter ones do begin to show a little more action, along with the shots of Master Chief just standing there heroically, because we all know that he's a badass. There is one where there is a grunt that has been sort of flung from an area that has been exploded. That is the very last one. Here we can see a Warthog, Master Chief being a badass. There's also a screenshot of Master Chief in some sort of fight with an elite. Now, it's hard to tell if that's a scripted event or if it's in a cutscene or whatever, but there is, however, a plasma sword And like I promised earlier, I can go ahead and show you guys that there are, in fact, plasma swords going to be in the game, whether they're in the single player, which I guess we can confirm that from the screenshot, and hopefully they'll be in the multiplayer, because I know a lot of people have liked to use the energy sword in the past for its one-hit kill ability. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the weapons, both Covenant and UNSC. As for the weapons, there's a few new ones and some old favorites like the energy sword, the plasma pistol. Here we've got a picture of a Wraith. For the UNSC weapons, of course, there's the battle rifle. The DMR is in the game as well. The Magnum, the rocket launcher, the sniper rifle, the Spartan laser. There's a brand new one which is called the Sticky Detonator. And, of course, finally, we've got a brand new weapon called the Railgun and a picture of the Master Chief holding it. Well, there's not much known yet about the multiplayer modes in Halo 4. These are some of the environments that the multiplayer matches will be taking place in, and we do have some information so far. There are 2 multiplayer modes that they've revealed so far, and will apparently take place in the Infinity, the big ship at the start of the single-player campaign. Now, there's going to be the standard multiplayer, which you remember from Halo 2, 3, and Reach, that will take place player versus player. It will be called War Games. And then there's also a multiplayer mode called Spartan Ops, which is going to be a cooperative, almost firefight-looking mode that will be one episode, they called it episode, will be releasing allegedly episodically once a week throughout the duration of the game. Now, they haven't said how many of these there will be, how many of them will be on disc, how many of them will be downloadable, and as soon as we get that information, of course it'll be disseminated throughout the internet for everyone to learn and have a look at some of the multiplayer footage. We've got it.
Overkill. Kill.
Beetle in the Requiem haystack, and you're gonna stop them from retrieving it.
So Halo 4 looks like it's shaping up to be a proper sequel and an advancement in the series. When game franchises hit the end of their trilogy, in order to come up with a 4th one, they have to avoid getting stuck in a rut of becoming the same old game. And when people look at it, they'll just say, well, it's just more of blank. And while this does look like more of Halo, it does look like the series is progressing, especially with Bungie not being at the helm. 343 Industries looks like they've taken the franchise underneath their wing and are well on their way to making a damn fine-looking game, and something that I'm really looking forward to, considering that I am not the world's biggest Halo fan. However, it is still early, and the game will launch exclusively on the Xbox 360 on November 6, 2012, which is Election Day, so please don't forget to go out and vote before you spend all day playing Halo 4. If you enjoyed our Halo 4 coverage, go ahead and please leave a like and also subscribe to this YouTube channel, because they're going to be updating it constantly with tons and tons of E3 news. And go ahead and click on the annotations at the end of the video if you want to move on to our coverage of something else. Other than that, this is Brian saying goodbye and thanks for watching. Visit BustedDpad.com for more.
Presenting Iris, two-time valedictorian of the illustrious Big Arms Academy's School of Assassination. Proficient in over 40 forms of unarmed combat.